I am rockin' with B-Rock.
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
Kirsty and I are rocking with B-Rock.
We're rocking with B-Rock!
We
We are Shotgun Superstars, rocking with B-Rock.
I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Jim. And we're rocking with B-Rock.
Rocking with B-Rock!
We are Asphalt Valentine, and you are rocking with B-Rock.
Rocking with B-Rock! Ready to rock with B-Rock!
Hey, this is Paul Liddell from Dangerous Toys and Dirty Looks, and I'm rocking with B-Rock.
With B-Rock!
I'm rocking with B-Rock.
With B-Rock, and I'm looking forward to fight.
Hey, it's Jeff from American Jet Set, and you're rocking with B-Rock. Because you're smart. You got good taste.
What's up, everybody? I'm here tonight. You know, it's Thursday night. You got me. Tonight, I have... Oh, wait. You see the new bandana? I was sporting the pink, you know, for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Sporting the pink. But now, as of now, I got two buddies that are fighting cancer. So the blue, the light blue, is for colon cancer, prostate cancer. So one of them, and that's what one of my guys is fighting. I got two guys fighting it now. So this month, or until everybody gets better, it's either going to be a light blue or a pink bandana from now on. Black is out until I get these guys all taken care of and on the mend. All right, so tonight is Thursday. I have with me Leni DiMancari. Said that right. I know I said that right. I see him down there. Yeah, you said that right. All right, I got Leni DiMancari from A Rising Force. He also does, he's also the CEO of 1013 Entertainment. Manages quite a few bands that I looked at it and I did not realize this. So we're going to get into it and talk to him about everything he's got going on with Rising Force, 1013, and whatever else he's got going on. So welcome, Leni. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? B-Rock, what's up? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I've been, Sherry Newhouse got me turned on to A Rising Force, really. She posts and, you know, she's fantastic at the social media game. She just, you know, she gets it out there, and then you get it, you have to look at it. So I checked it out. I liked it. And then next thing I know, she's texted me. She's like, hey, you want to talk to Leni? I'm like, yeah, you know, so here you are. And I'm actually glad to have you. I mean, I love you. I love the band and everything you're doing, you know. So let's start with, okay, how long you been in? What was the first stage you picked up like a guitar or started singing? I know you sang in another band for a little while. We'll get to that. But when did you first get into music or say, this is what I want to do?
Well, you know, originally my sister gave me an old Victory acoustic guitar, and she handed it to me to play, and I started playing it left-handed, and she said, you can't do it left-handed. And then she turned the strings around and started showing me chords. And what was nice is my three sisters let me listen to all the great music growing up. So I got everything from the Beatles to the Beach Boys, and my youngest sister, Gina, it was Hendrix, it was Zeppelin, it was Janis Joplin, it was Deep Purple, it was everything great. So I was kind of molded into this little metalhead very early on from my sister. My parents wanted nothing to do with it, but hey, I wanted everything to do with it, right? And then I just started playing, and I remember working. My dad did not want to help me get my first Les Paul, and so I was working at a Burger King, flipping burgers to save enough money to get my first LP. Right. And it was great. It was a tobacco burst, and you know, I worked after school every day, saved all the money, went down to the old Tressman Music, bought that thing. It was left-handed, and it was great because no one else could play it because it was left-handed, and everyone else was playing right-handed guitar. So that was mine. So that's where it kind of started, and then it kind of blossomed into. I went off to college to become an entertainment lawyer, and
wow,
played guitar on the side. Played with a cover band for a while, and then I remember calling the old man and saying, "Hey, I'm going to move all my classes to start at 3:00 because I can make, which at the time, $100 a night, playing Tuesday through Saturday, all over the road." And then he didn't talk to me for like 3 years after that.
Oh my God!
So that's where it started. I mean, that's kind of where it started, and then I met some really influential, great people while I was in Fargo Moorhead. Kenny Reardon, my guitar guru, close friend, and the guy who does all the work on my guitars to this day. We've known each other since I was a freshman in college, so we're still friends. So
absolutely, you got to keep. That's one thing you don't get anymore is you don't hear of people that have been friends for 30, 40 years.
Right.
People separate nowadays, and it's like, but I mean, I used to have friends, and for some reason or another, we've grown apart and don't talk anymore. But every now and then you reconnect, and you're like, why did we ever, But sometimes it's good to have that one that's with you through everything. Girls have it, like us guys have it,
Yeah, I mean, I still have the same 5 very close friends that I've had ever since we graduated. So
that's awesome.
It's kind of nice,
Right. Now, you were first in cover bands. Well, what age was that?
18.
18. Oh shit.
18.
That's you weren't old enough to drink, but you were in the bars,
Well, they had that. It was kind of a grandfather clause back then between Minnesota and North Dakota and Wisconsin. So all of us in high school would go over to Wisconsin to drink when we were 18, right? But then when they grandfathered it to 19, then it was great because all of us turned 19 and we were already in the bar, so we knew where the live music was to go. And then they changed it to 21, but they grandfathered the 19-year-olds to the 21-year-old, so we were fine. So
there you go. Hey.
Yeah, so it worked out. It didn't do real well for me as far as learning how to drink that early. But I can say I've been sober for 26 years now, so that's a proud achievement.
Very nice. I just got my sober anniversary was October 8th, and that was 10. And
nice job.
People think I was under the impression that you need alcohol and you need drinks and you need drugs and everything like that to hang in. Exactly.
There it is.
See, AA, for some reason, I could not do AA. Some people can do it, some people can't. And I tried it with that, and it just did not work for me. I ended up going back out, and it was the day I actually hit rock bottom and wanted to just die, wanted to kill myself with drinking, and that got me. And it was just, I stopped Sunday morning. I woke up Sunday morning, and that was it. I mean, I didn't think I could do it, just like you probably didn't think you could quit way back then.
No, I didn't. I was really good at it, and the judge said it would be a really good idea if I stopped. So that was enough for me.
Right.
I mean, nice job.
Yeah, you too, man. I mean, it isn't. Some days it isn't easy, and other days it's a breeze. But it's just easier every day, and I wouldn't change it anymore. No way.
Well, it's tough to stay sober when you're trying to make a living in a business based on fantasy. So
true. It is. Yeah, but you know what? That fantasy is kind of reality. Really.
It really is. Yeah.
It really is reality.
It really is.
I'm in the biz as much as possible. I would love to be playing drums in the biz, but just as long as I'm around it, I'm good. And it's dreams coming true. You got to take little things that, your passion and your soul gets fed, Yep. So you mentioned to me earlier, okay, we'll get into this first. It's part of who you are, but you mentioned to me, you texted me and said, I just got done bringing the horses in. Now, I told one of my buddies yesterday or the day before, we were talking about being young, and I told him I grew up on a farm: pigs, horses, cows, dairy cattle, 100 dairy cattle, and he said, I would have never, the next day he comes in, he's like, dude, you floored me yesterday with this farmer story of yours. You would have never guessed. And, you look at somebody, you never guess that they have horses. So what, you got a farm, you live out in the country?
We live about an hour out of Minneapolis, and we have 10 acres and we have 3 horses. It's nice and peaceful out here. I can get a lot of work done. There's a lot of solitude, and unfortunately, I think that people suffer from solitude deprivation because they're so connected to their devices all the time that if it's getting a little bit too busy for me, I can just go out the back door and look at the lake and watch the trumpeter swans, or watch a fox run through the yard.
It's relaxing.
It is. It's very nice. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. You get up at 4:00 in the morning and work out, and then take care of horses, and then try to do your job all day, and then maintain it, and then go and do it all over again at 5:30, 5:45 when you bring them in. It was a little chilly today, but yeah, I mean, it's just so nice, and there's something really, really special about having that kind of a bond with a horse. Same with the dog. I mean, they know you and they get to know you and they trust you. That's one animal that if they don't like you, they will let you know.
Right. Yep. We had horses when I was growing up, and if he didn't like somebody, he didn't like that person. And you don't, there's no amount you can do to pet him or try to touch him. He'll just go right away from you, and he will, he'll let you know, to come at you or something. But I mean, when they love you, you walk up to them, they'll nestle their head right in your chest, and it's like this big animal that just could stomp me is like putty in my hands. It just loves you. It's awesome.
It's a wonderful bond with our horses. The little one drives me crazy. The 2 Arabians, they're wonderful. They're as gentle and wonderful, and they're retired show horses, so we don't ride them. But they were ridden before. So they're older, but it's gotten down to a science. I mean, it's just like clockwork. I can get out and get it done in 20 minutes, and then get back in and get everything ready for the workday. It's nice to work from home. I mean, a lot of people had to work from home because of the pandemic. I've been lucky enough and fortunate to be able to work from home for about 12 years now. So
nice.
Don't have to go to an office. It's nice.
That's nice. Like you said, when it gets too much, you go right out the door.
Yeah.
Take a little break, look at the scenery, come back in, you're all refreshed.
Well, and you're in the business too. I mean, you do it where you have that moment where you're looking at your phone and you just hang up and you just kind of look to the sky and you just go, you want to just unload and you can't.
Right.
You can't. You can't, because the minute you do, then everybody says, well, that guy's a dink. Why do you want to work with that guy?
You get stressed out, and like I said, I told you earlier, I've been doing this benefit, and it's a lot of work. You don't realize it when you get into it, you forget how much work it was, and then you do it again, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. But you plow through. I told Brad today, I was like, yeah. I said, dude, now I know why you're a wreck all the time. I said, and I'm only doing 3 right now, and he does like 30, which I know you do a bunch. I was like, man, trying to, people don't realize the amount of time it takes. And you're with 1013 Entertainment, and they don't realize you're constantly managing bands. You're constantly putting them on the road. You're constantly doing things, answering questions. They think you just sit there and make money, and that's not the case.
No, we're constantly chasing money. In fact, I have an old client. I'm still waiting for him to show up with that check. It's been 9 years. He said, I'm a man of my word, Lenny. I'll show up and I'll bring you that check.
Right.
So, and I just jokingly with some friends of mine, I always call some sound guys that have worked with him in the past, and he disappeared. Nobody's seen the guy for like 9 years. I go, so no golden retriever or lab brought a femur in from the woods up there in Brainerd, did they? Don't know. Yeah. Now, did they find a tibia or yeah? I mean,
See, I'm pretty terrible with getting to the post office. If I've got to mail something out, I am absolutely horrible at it. I mean, I'll have it sitting there and it sits there for a while. I've got to mail you something and it's still sitting here and it's ready to go, but it's still sitting here. It rode around in my truck for 3 days. I finally brought it in. Why, I don't know. And then I brought it back out to my truck, rode around for a couple more days. I'm like, you know what? I got to get to the post office one of these days. I'll probably.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because for a couple days now, there's been nothing in the mailbox, and I'm thinking, oh, is somebody stealing my mail on here?
Right. No.
And then I watched the news, and it's like, well, the mail service will be slower now, and I'm like, oh, really? Okay.
They are.
And
I mean, yes.
There was a pile of mail today. I'm just going, oh, look at this bill, credit card, bill. Apply for this credit card for 2 years and don't pay anything unless you're late, and then you'll pay 48% interest, and we'll take your
Yeah.
Not a
garbage. You throw all the bills away until they turn pink, and then once they turn pink, then you say, "Okay, I gotta open that one now."
You might want to get that one, yeah. The yellow or the pink. You might want to get that one.
Yellow's the one before the pink. Yeah, you might want to.
Yeah, that's the warning shot. That's the yellow amber, and then the pink one is like, hey, you notice they don't make them green, like because green you're thinking, oh, look, it's money. No, it's not.
No, not money.
No, it's the starts with a D and ends with a connect. So
maybe if they mailed them out and put them on green, people would open them.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I don't think they will. They're not gonna.
I don't think so. It's not gonna happen.
Now, how many bands you got in your corral at 1013?
Oh, geez, that's loaded.
I looked.
12 nationals, 12 national acts now. We started with 2, and it got bigger.
How long you been doing?
Just started in 2007. I had an agent that I was working with that told me that the band I was in was useless and unbookable. So I kind of said F you to him. And then I turned around and booked about 70 shows on the band. I just rebranded it and put it back together. And then a couple of tribute band friends of mine said, hey, man, you're really pretty good at this. I'm like, nah, it's nothing. I'll take you on. And that's how it started. And then at one point, I brought my agency over to my good friend Mike Findling's agency, and he manages Hairball. You're probably familiar with them.
Yep.
So we merged the two companies together for a short period of time, but I really, really enjoyed being on my own. And we're all still the best of friends. I mean, Mike's a buddy. We spent time together in Nashville. We went out to dinner. He's got a great product that he's doing, and we talk to each other. It's like I know his family. He knows ours. I mean, we've known each other for decades. So, yeah. So he wasn't – I think he was mad at first when I bailed to reopen the company. But, we started working together on a whole bunch of stuff. And between Mike and Chad and I, we brainstorm and do stuff together all the time,
Right. And you got to work together. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot that, I know you knew Bill and Lori. They basically, I think Rising Force was actually with Highball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think we're the last band he signed, actually.
Yes, I think so. And they had the mentality of let's all work together. You got Scully Coley in Atlanta. Let's all work together. Let's all work together. Not against each other. Brad Lee, let's work together. And there's certain promoters, managers out there that want to all work together, but then there's others that you can't get them to work with you for shit. And it's a shame.
It's true. I mean, you just, when you learn it, I mean, everybody talks to each other. Right. My advice to anybody is, be nice to everybody.
Be nice.
Be nice. It's so easy.
Patrick
It takes a lot of work to be an ass.
It does.
It really takes a lot of work to be an ass. Why be an ass? I mean, be good to people. I mean,
right.
It comes back to you. Don't expect it to come back to you, but it comes back to you.
It does. It will come back to you at that time when you don't think, like with this benefit that I'm doing. it humbles you when stuff comes back, and then you're like, wow, this outpouring, and people tell you, if you were a jizz or you were a dick to people, they're not going to help you. But if you're not, then people, in your times of need, you will find out that people will come to you with a lifeboat, So it's better to not be a dick and be nice.
Absolutely. It works out better.
It's more stressful. Your heart rate goes up when you're pissed and a dick, and you're just it isn't good for your health. If you're just happy and just love everybody, could be good for your health, I think.
You know what really helps? I'm going to show you. I read this. Okay. I love reading. I'm a reader. Can you see that?
Yes.
Can you see that? Or am I? This is one of the best. Yep. This was one of the best books I've ever read by Gregory McCune. It kind of puts it together for how to not be a dick and go after what you really want and make your life, don't compartmentalize your life, but really go after the things that are really, really important that mean the most to you. That's what I got out of the book. Right. If something's driving you crazy or people that you're working with are over the top, well, you know what? Nothing's stopping you from getting away from that situation and starting your own,
Right. And that's the truth. Why hang out with things that are bringing you down or causing you stress? You can remove yourself from a situation. I'm at work. They want me to work over here. We'd love to move you over to this machine where it's more money and this and that. I'm like, but then I'm over there and you're in the middle of everybody. So you deal with it all. I prefer to be in the back, do this. I'm a machinist by trade, and do this over here and be by myself. Turn up the music, and I'm a happy guy.
See, you're a craftsman. You're a craftsman. Yeah. You have the craftsman mentality. Yep.
No. You gotta just be yourself. Be over here. People don't want to be around me because I'm, and sometimes I get mad. Sometimes something don't work out, and I get mad. But that's when the radio goes up and throw on a rising force, and the whole day's all better now.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you like the record. I mean, I
do. I love it.
That's a labor of love.
Yes.
It came out May 7th. We actually we finished the album in October of last year. It was done. Yep. And we were going to self-release it, and our good friend Ron Keel said, "Are you sure? I might know somebody that I want to take a look at this." And we chopped it out to 3-4 people. 2 came back and said we'd be interested, and we went with Bill because I had just the greatest conversation with Bill the first time we ever talked, and it was like an interview. I felt like I was being interviewed for a job, And some of the questions he asked me, I was just like, wow. I can't repeat them because I don't want to offend a left or a right, but let's just say, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, yeah, okay. And I must have answered the question right because, so he goes, well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to offer you a 2-album deal. And I thought, okay, that's cool. And then he sent a deal points memo about 3 weeks later, and we all looked at it and said, you know what, let's do this. And we got signed right in the middle of a pandemic, which was really amazing to me. It was floored. Then things started to materialize, the ESP endorsement came in, and Brian went with DNA bass amps, It was nice. It was a nice little run,
Right.
But then, August, it's like we lost the mentor, The captain of the ship went down. It was really hard.
That was hard
because Bill was going to go to Nashville with me to the IEBA conference, and that stands for the International Entertainment Buyers Association Conference. And they do it every year in Nashville. Last year they didn't. They made it virtual, which was a lot of work for nothing. This year it was very, very good. But Bill and I got a booth, got the hotel room, lined everything up, and then he got sick. And then the last text message I got from him, I said, you doing any better? Are you feeling okay? We're all pulling for you, Captain. And the last thing he wrote to me was no. And that was the last text I ever got from him.
Wow.
So it was tough. Because we used to talk all the time. He would just call up and
Right.
he'd go, "What the F are you doing?" It's like him trying to make a living,
Yeah.
scratching a living in this thing,
It's the first time I ever talked to him. I said, "Hey man, can I call you?" Absolutely. And he gave me his number, and I was kind of like, okay, so I called him, and it was like you were old friends, and we talked for an hour and a half, and it was just like boom, 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 click, and I just felt comfortable around that guy. I mean, he was just an amazing person.
Yeah, he made you feel like $1 million on the phone. Even if he was mad at you about something, he still made you feel like $1 million. Maybe 999,000. Yeah, but that one little, But I miss him. I miss our chats, and and to lose your wife a week later.
Oh my God, dude!
Gosh, I feel so bad for the family.
Oh my God!
And I've talked to Craig, and Craig and I are trying to figure a few things out. I felt bad because I had to actually ask them to send me some of the product so that I would have product down in Nashville, so that when people came to the booth, they could pick up stuff from Every Mother's Nightmare, or they could pick up stuff from Native Sons, or they could pick up Asphalt Valentine. Yeah. And I mean, it was like, and all the CDs were all gone, just like that. Ron Keel sent me a whole bunch of great stuff to give away, and he didn't have anything left either. So now it's and that just happened last week. So now it's that 10 to 20 day period of follow-ups and figure out what you're going to do with the people you made contact with. Nothing ever happens overnight.
No,
it really doesn't. It's a lot of work. People think it's just instant,
No,
but it's not. It's taken a long time.
It does. I got a hold of Asphalt because I wanted a bunch to give away. And I said I can't find Amazon or anything like that. I was like, and then I realized, okay, I went to High Vault and it was down, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot. And so I went to Scott Clark and I was like, hey, how do I get CDs now? He goes, I'm going to figure that out. Don't worry, I'll get back to you. He goes, because everything was being moved. And I'm like, okay. So, and then he got back to me, I think, and said, everything's sold out right now. We're going to have to get more. I'm like, okay, just let me know when you get it. And, I want some. But,
well, Joe sent me these really cool keychains that he had a bunch of keychains, and then I got the CDs too. So, I mean, that was great. I just, that was the thing with Bill and I. We were kind of merging the roster of talent that he had at High Vault over to the 1013 site so we could build the national roster, because I've been working with the Sweep for about 5 years now, and Alana Davis for 5 years, and Flip for 6. We just kind of built the roster up more, and then more bands started to kind of come in, and that's how the day gig works. Get on the phone and try to, in the words of who was it? The manager from Spinal Tap, and he says, "I try to raise the rent out of the locals."
Right. Wise words from Spinal.
Nigel, not Nigel Tufnell. It was no, Nigel was a guitar player. Wow. Boy, I just kicked myself when we get done with this interview, because I've watched the movie about 1,000 times, and I think every musician should.
Right. It's one of them you have to watch.
You have to, because it's all true. It's all true. Dave Minichetti said it from Y&T. He goes, he was just flabbergasted, because the whole movie was something that had actually happened to someone or them.
Right. Right. Now, how long has Rising Force been around? When was the inception?
Well, it came out of a previous band that the three of us were in called Dare Force, and we could not work with the singer any longer. He was just, how you work with somebody, and it's like, and then you just kind of dread it every day. I mean, when I joined the band and left the band, it was the most exciting time of my life. Right? So, I mean, it's the first musician I've ever thought that I had to burn sage or hang garlic on the door. to get away from the guy. Yeah, it was tough. So,
Wow.
the three of us decided to, first I left and those two guys came with, and Brian and Lane, and then we kind of formed and said, well, let's call it A Rising Force. Originally it was 2 words and it was 3 words. And then we got Mark. And Mark came in and sang on the record. It turned out great.
Fantastic.
For what we did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very, 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 very good album. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't like new music. I hate to listen to it because sometimes it disappoints me. I get very, okay, I got something new to listen to. A lot of bands disappoint, but this one did not. I didn't need the usual 3 listens to get get the album. It was the first listen. I think what's my favorite? Crushed.
Oh.
Crushed. I love Crushed.
That one hit number 2 this year on the 97 Underground chart. Yeah, it went to number 2, and it was I think we had number 2 and number 5 for the whole month of August. I wish Bill and Lori could have seen that, because they would have been really proud to have 2 songs from one album in the top 10.
And it's kind of crazy because a Rising Force, Thrill Ride, Native Sons, you guys are always on there. You 3 bands are always on that list.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. I've noticed a Rising Force on there, and Thrill Ride and Native Sons. EMN, I think EMN was on there a couple times. Yeah, and
I think for Breathe, I think, and then their last single, I think, was on there too.
Yep. So it's 4 bands on there constantly. It's like, all right, and it says what kind of music is coming out of the camp.
Ashton's an amazing singer.
Dude.
And he's so young, and Ashton just sells the song. He's got so much soul when he's singing, with Native Sons, and Denny's stuff with Thrill Ride blew me away. You get to know these guys, and, we're working together. We're trying to build, tours and shows together. And you kind of get to know these guys, and you kind of know their strengths, their weaknesses. But God, there was nothing weak. Everybody that Bill had at the label when we joined it was top notch. Everything was really good. When I listened to that whole Every Mother's Nightmare record, Resurrect the Faithful, I listened to it front to back. I went, this should be on a major tour. Why is this not on a major tour? Why is this not on, in the top 10 on Octane or something? It's so good, And from an agent, from a musician standpoint, you respect it, and you think, God, these guys are killer, right? These are great songs. From an agent standpoint, because I got to play both sides of the fence, I look at it and go, okay, what would it take to get these guys out with someone? What would it take to get them out with a Shinedown, or get out on select dates on the Metallica tour if it goes out again?
Right. This thank you, Lenny, came from Denny Grace.
Oh, hey, Denny.
Yes, he's out there.
Never Saw It Coming is such a good song.
Dude, oh my God. The first time I heard them, I was just scrolling somewhere. I don't remember what I was doing, but I was scrolling and I came across it, I think. I don't remember how I came across that tune. But I started, or somebody, it had to have been Sherry sharing it, because she does all the time. So I just listened to it for the hell of it. And the beginning, I was like, okay. And then it just hit. And I was like, wow. So I listened to it again, just to make sure it was that good. And it was that good. I took the headphones off, ran out to the wife. I said, you got to hear this. I slammed the headphones on her head. She's like, I do that. If I like something, I slam the headphones on her. And she's like, what? And I'm like, you got to hear this. You got to tell me what you think. And she got off and she's like, it's really good. I'm like, okay, it's not just me then. And then I shopped it to a couple other guys, and they were like, yes, very good. And with the Rising Force, I've done the same thing with certain people, and they're like, oh my God, is that good? So, there is good music out there. You got to find it.
When we when we started working on this song, when we started working on these songs together, I mean, the three of us had, we have such a good vibe together. We know how to play off each other, and really proud to be working with Lane and Brian in the rhythm section of this band, because everybody contributes. You can't have a really good song if you don't have a really great bass part. And Lane is such a unique and talented drummer. The way he will do things, like on Love and War, who would have
Oh my
thought he'd go
God.
7/4? I mean, you're thinking, well, who did that? Okay, Rush did that. Okay,
Right.
Soundgarden did that. I think if I remember correctly, well, don't quote me. Oh yeah, I guess. Well, now I'm live on the air. I
You're
suppose you are
live.
quoting me.
You're quoting.
I'm live. So, Primus did some off drum beats that were amazing.
Yes. And
Um,
that gets me every time. If you have like bands like AC/DC where the drum is straightforward. It's just boom, 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 bam, boom, 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 bam, the whole song. Okay, yeah, that's great. But then you get these. I love the offbeats, and I really try to play them more than I try to play the straightforward AC/DC, and that seems more harder to me than the offbeats. I love throwing that offbeat. It just it makes the song even cooler,
Well,
And
it's
he
kind of
got
like
that going.
Rush.
Yeah.
It's like Rush. I mean, that's one of the only concerts I've gone to where you can see 500 dudes in Rush t-shirts playing every single Neil Peart fill at the same time. It's like it's like a religious experience. I hope he's looking down from heaven on all of these people who still put the cans on and listen to, say, Hemispheres, or listen to Spirit of the Radio, or
Right.
or any the things that, and he was so creative the way he did it. It was just fantastic the way he did it, and he laid stuff in there, and they were a 3-piece.
3-piece.
A 3-piece. Yeah.
Right. And what blows me away is I can't do his shit no matter what, ever, how hard I try. And I have headphones on listening to it. I can barely do anything. This guy, just no music around him, does the whole song start to finish, perfection, no matter what, does not miss a beat. And he's actually got no music playing anywhere, no headphones, no nothing. He just memorizes it or just feels it, and he can play it.
Well, Lane does that. Lane feels the song, and that's why I love playing with Lane. I mean, he feels the song out. Brian, and I've known Brian for half my, if not most of my career. To be able to play with Brian is like a gift, because he's such a powerful bass player. So the rhythm section, it was very easy for us to go in the studio. We knocked out all the basic tracks on the first album the first night. Then we went in and overdubbed stuff, and I added guitar, and I used a Mesa Boogie stiletto for one rhythm track, and then I came back in and used the vintage Marshall 3203s to blend it on the second rhythm track, and then to counter rhythms with another track. So I mean, it was a building process, but that foundation, the new songs that we're writing for the next record, wow.
I can't wait.
I can't either. We're going to get together Saturday and play,
Wow.
If there's one thing, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No. You go ahead.
No, I mean, if there's one thing in the pandemic, pandemic was a shit show for not only my company, but for musicians and venues and theaters. If there's one thing that came out of the pandemic that was great, is we could sneak off over to our drummer's house and go into the studio and write songs and work on songs together, and sneak away and not be afraid of getting the vid,
Right.
That was, although I got it. I had it for like 2 weeks. Then I got the shot. So I'm triple protected now, I guess. And my wife, who works in healthcare, she goes, "Are you going to get the booster?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not going to get the booster." No. Did I? Oh, I can swear on the show, can I? Yeah, I can. Did that get beeped? Didn't mean to. Sorry.
No.
Just slipped out.
Fuck it.
Okay, well, there you go.
Hey, you know what? It's not a kid-friendly show. If kids want to watch, that's fine, but they're going to learn new things sometimes.
Well, it's not like there's anything. bad going on here on video.
No, I mean,
Sorry about the slip. I apologize, Brian.
You're fine. I mean, it doesn't matter.
All right. Where were we?
I don't remember.
Yeah, sorry.
Like I told you, this is unscripted. We don't know. I mean, it would fly all over the place. So you said you went into the studio one day and laid down the foundation.
Yeah, we did the foundation tracks at Winterland Studios. We started at 4:00 in the afternoon. We were finished sometime around 10:30, I think.
Holy shit!
And the whole record was done. You know, except for Giza. Giza was an instrument. Well, no, we actually did part of Giza there too. Because Lane and I laid down the just the foundation parts for Giza, and I came in and played the keyboard parts. And then my stepdaughter Chelsea came in and sang on Giza, and you know, she's pretty amazing. I would have to say. Yeah, she sang with 2 symphonic metal bands. One was called Desdemone. I think the poster's up behind me. They're out of New York City, and she toured with them, and then she went out with Heliosaga for a while. And you know, that's symphonic metal is, you know, cool. It's very cool. At first, when I first heard it, I kind of went, okay. And then I got it, and then all of a sudden, now my wife's got me into Epica and Nightwish, and you know, Empu's like one of my favorite rhythm players and lead players, you know, from Nightwish. I love that stuff, and that stuff is not easy to play. It's like Dream Theater with an opera singer, you know.
Right. And I started listening, you know, because during the pandemic, I had nothing better to do, so I'm searching out stuff, and I was finding it going, oh my God, you know, some of these, like you said, it's rock music with an opera singer, but it's so good. I mean, you know, a lot of it's in Europe and it's not here yet. And it's like, people got to find this and you got to listen to it. Dream Theater and Dream Theater is one of my favorites. And, you know, it's just, there's a guy, I can't remember his name. I mean, in Europe that does this, and I was just blown. He's a guitar player. I was blown away by his stuff. I lost his name. I'll find him again. I got it saved somewhere. But it's like,
so did you discover Noise by Nightwish during the pandemic? Because I think they released that song right before the pandemic hit.
I have actually not listened to Nightwish yet.
Okay, yeah, that's
my bad.
Yeah, I would. If you want something to really get into the band, go watch Storytime Live at Wacken Open Air. That'll blow your brains out. Yeah, I showed that to my bandmates, and they're like, "Wow!" Go, yeah, isn't this cool? I didn't even know this existed. I was like in a tunnel of hard rock, you know, and all of a sudden, my wife just says, "Hey, you got to listen to this." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And we watched the whole concert on DVD.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know?
Sometimes you got to take them blinders off, because I was the same way. It was hard rock, American. That's it. That's all I want to know about. I don't want to know what's going on in Europe. Fuck them guys. I don't want to know what's going on over here. You know, screw everybody else. It's American. That's the only way it can be. Well, then I listened to Eclipse about 3-4 years ago. And I could not. For some reason, it took me 3 times to like their CD. I interviewed Eric, and I told him the same thing. I said, it took me a little bit to like it. But then when I liked it, then it was like, okay, I get to discover more like this. So I started digging for that. And then that led me to the symphonic. And then it led me over here and over here. And it's like, once you take them blinders off and expose yourself, you're going to find, everybody says there's no new music. I wish our bands would release new music. There is so much more music out there that you're not seeing and not hearing.
Yeah, the evolution of music is. I've heard the same thing. Excuse me. I've heard the same thing, that there's nothing new. It's like, open your eyes. There's all kinds of new things.
A rising chord.
All kinds of
brand new.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's not critically acclaimed, but you know, people dig the record, and we just I think, you know, Brian and I were talking today. We talked to each other during the day occasionally, and I said, dude, I think we've played to about maybe 12,000 people in the last 4 shows we've done.
Nice.
people clapped between every song, and it's like these are originals, and they're screaming, and it's like we must have done something right because people were connecting, and we sold out of merch a couple times. I mean, we're down to we have 28 CDs left for the next show. For the next 2 shows, we have 28 CDs. That's how much merch we sold. I think I've got maybe 6 large T-shirts left. Got a few XLs, double X's, 1 triple X.
Yeah, you were telling me that one day.
Mediums are all gone. We're inventory's down. But that's, I mean, you make money on your merch. It's a really good thing. Yeah, you make money on your merch.
You know, I like physical copies of everything. I gotta have it. I do Spotify at work, but when I'm at the house, if I can get a record version of it, I'm buying the record version and the CD because, I gotta have it. But you gotta have the physical.
So you remember, you would think back, you would remember the days when a new release would come out on a Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Not a Friday.
Yeah.
And then you went to the vinyl store and you knew that new release was going to come out.
Yep.
And and for me, I biked up to get Kiss's Dynasty record because it was coming out, and I wanted to get. For me, I thought I'm going to have the very first copy,
Right.
And if you open it up and you're like, wow, and then you put it on and you kind of go, okay, this is cool,
Right.
And then because I was a Kiss fan, I mean, growing up, the first guitar player that changed my life was Eddie Van Halen, and that just kind of blossomed from there. I don't play anything like Eddie. I don't. Eddie's Eddie. He came up with that, and don't touch it.
Right.
Play, but seeing Van Halen in the second row on the Van Halen 2 tour, that was the decision to not finish college and go on to law school. That was where I kind of made that choice. Pissed a lot of people off by not doing it, but you know what?
You had to feed your soul.
It was fun. It wasn't always profitable, but what is?
Nothing.
Nothing's always profitable.
Right. You got to do what you love. If you're not making money at it, who cares? If you love it, and don't turn it into a job. The day you're turning it into a job and you rely on it to make you money, and then it becomes a job, and then it stops being your passion. It stops being something you love. If you don't rely on it, if it's making you money and you're rich because of it, great. But always have something else that you can fall back on that is a job.
Right.
I think.
Why, and it's the way it is. Unless you're in a working band. When early 80s, when I was out playing with Hurricane Alice, we're sometimes gone, 2 weeks at a time, come back for a day, and, no food in the fridge, no cash in your pocket because you're eating ramen, on the road, and you're hoping that you meet someone that's nice enough to wash your stage clothes for you overnight.
Right.
Just little moments like that, and but then you really get to know people when you're with them a whole year, 2 years, 3 years. And the sad thing about it is little things that aren't fixed early become major disaster problems within the band. And it's just, communication is key for people. If I could go back, maybe change some of the things that I may have said to my former bandmates at one time or another, or vice versa.
Right.
We probably would have hung out, but we chose not to,
Right. And you're talking about Hurricane.
Yeah. Hurricane House. Yeah.
And it happens. That was one of the bands, man. I knew you guys back then, and when you guys came out with Tear Your House, I
was out before.
You were out before that.
I was out. Yeah. When I left, it's kind of a weird story. If you got a second, I'll explain it.
Go ahead.
There were 2 record labels interested in the band. Atlantic was one, and then Liquid, which was supposed to be distributed through Sony, was the other. And they wanted us to record more material and, the A&R rap, that you get. And I chose to leave the band because I thought the Liquid deal was much better. It was a couple $100,000 for the first album. And I thought, oh, wow, and when you're young, you're thinking, God, I made it. Well, no, no. That's a record label is actually another word for bank. Bank wants all money back on every single piece of what you're going to do. Publishing, live performance, no points. This, if there's other musicians that have had the deals before, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Where you think you're going to make money, and then you're investing, and it's like, oh, you want to do a video that's going to be $50,000. Oh, so you want to master it at Olympic? Oh, well, that's going to be 25,000. Oh, by the way, the producer wants 5 points on the record. And it's like, oh my God, and you don't understand it, but you're so fogged because you got a record deal. It's like,
we're up here now.
Hey, we're here. You know what? And it took, and our producer was Leonard Hayes from Y&T, and he looked at me and he said, you know what? You aren't shit. He said, you're starting over. He said, you think you're at a different level now? He goes, now you're at the bottom again. Now you really have to prove yourself. And he was right. He was one of my closest friends at one time, and he's gone now. He passed away from emphysema. But he was right. I mean, he told me that it took Y&T 5 albums to pay off the first one. So
I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and that's the way that's the reality of it. Guys that are putting out music now these days, God bless them. You're keeping the torch lit. But you have to find several different avenues and revenue streams when you're a live band in order to make things happen. Right. I'm very fortunate. I've got a lot of bands that have those revenue streams that we work with, and internally for our band as well. We all are just kind of on the same page for the common good, and making the best music possible and seeing what happens,
And people scream for new music and they want it. Go to the show, buy some merch, get the CD, and then they can keep making new music for you. You want new, you got to support it. If you don't support it, you're not going to get anything new ever.
And don't ask to be on the guest list when it's a ticketed event door show.
I was having this conversation with one of the guys at work. He's like, you must be on every guest list. I'm like, dude, I'm not on any. I don't want it. I said, if somebody offers it, okay. I said, but I really don't. I've been offered it, and I've already been like, I already bought the tickets. Don't worry about it. And they're like, why did you buy the ticket? Because I will buy the tickets. But then people that ask to be on the guest list, if you have to ask to be on the guest list, you don't belong on the guest list. Number one. And and why would you ask for that anyway? If it's a $10, $20 ticket, why can't you pay that?
It's not a lot of money. I mean, the show we just did with Vince Neil, we didn't even ask for a guest list, and the owner of the event came up to me and said, do you have anyone that you want to put on the guest list? I said, well, we need to make money on the event. And he goes, make sure you get 20 people on the guest list. And I said, okay. So I actually, put people on the guest list with his wishes. And I think, well, that's more people in to enjoy the show and eat and drink and buy merch, so, buy merch, buy a band's merch. That's my advice.
Buy the merch. That's where you guys are making your money nowadays. It's not ticket sales, because nobody buys tickets. If they're more than $20, forget about it. People don't want to buy it. And if there's two bands on a bill and damn thing's $20, the bands ain't getting $10 a piece. They're getting $2-3 a piece. So buy the damn ticket.
Well, it's like we're doing a show coming up November 6th with Fuzzard, another band that we took on under the 1013 umbrella. Great band. I think Life Turned Black actually hit number 2 on the 97 Underground chart too. So I mean, we've been blessed with great music, and we're doing a show together with Reverend Soul at Route 47 coming up. and in Fridley and doing it for the door. You know,
Yeah.
we took out the ads. You know, we said, you know what, you want to prove your worth and invite people to your show. You know exactly how many people care about your show and care about your music when you do shows for the door. I don't mind doing shows for the door because this summer we got offered really, really good money to play. And I was humbled by the money that was offered to the band. And I said, that's awesome. We'll pay down our debt on the band with it, you know?
Right.
Which is great. I mean, and you know, it's not an easy business. You're in it. You have to deal with stuff as an agent, as a booking agent. You have to deal with, you know, your owner, who probably his head has spun 2 or 3 times in the last 18 months. Where it's just like, okay, now
At
what?
least.
You know, you know,
yeah.
yeah.
It's just amazing. You know,
But we're all still here.
You're right. Y'all still here.
We made it.
Yep. I think we're coming out on the other end of it now, which is hopefully, it looks like everything's, you know, they started to spike up again and now it's all falling down, which is the numbers are going away, which is good. You know, get everybody back out on the road. It's nice to hear that you guys have been doing shows quite a bit, you know, and you have to. And there's so much new music out there that people, if you're screaming for new music, you said a couple, Native Sons, A Rising Force, you got Asphalt Valentine, you got American Bombshell, you got Steel City, you know, you got all these bands out there that, you know, support them, listen to them, take that 2 seconds to check them out. You're going to like them, and then go buy their CD.
Yeah. I mean, Fuzzer's brand new album comes out pretty quick here. Who else? I think I talked to Alan from Every Mother's Nightmare. They're working on some new stuff here and there. So they should have something new next year. I mean, the creative process, never stop the creative process. I mean, and that's you know, it's funny. It's kind of a backtrack, but it's not bad. In Nashville, I was having breakfast with Rudy Sarzo. And this was just by accident, dude. Okay. Because I'd worked with Rudy before, when he was playing with the Guess Who, and when he was in Quiet Riot, we'd work together. And so we kind of knew each other because you have that familiarity thing. And I went down to eat because they weren't serving breakfast till 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, come on, I eat breakfast at 6. So I went down to the coffee shop. I'm sitting there eating, and Rudy walks in and says, hey, you mind if I join you? And I'm like, feel free, you know.
Go ahead,
for
buddy.
an hour and a half, we just sat there and we talked about history and music, and he was showing me pictures of Randy Rhoads playing, you know, classical guitar backstage, and he's telling me about, you know, leaving Cuba, or as he puts it, Cuba. That's how he says it, Cuba. What a genuine, wonderful soul of a human being, and those are the kind of experiences in music that you never forget. You know, or running John Waite to a Taco Bell at 11:30 at night because he wanted to have the triple layer burrito. You know, little thing, you know, or hanging backstage with the guys from Tesla again, talking about when they went to Hyde Street Studios and sat in on a record I was doing, and Jeff and Tommy and Troy, and Tommy was in the band at the time, Tommy Skio, and Frank, and they came in and did gang vocals for free on our record that we were producing. Just little moments like that you never forget, you know. I just very blessed. I mean, I'm just very thankful and very gracious for any opportunity that I've had and any of us have had. I think you have to be very thankful because not everyone gets those opportunities, you know.
And it could go away just like that.
And it has. I mean, look at what happened to us. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen so many people so hungry to get out on stage again. It's like, you know, I had bandmates and friends that were saying, geez, I don't even remember the songs. I just want to play. You know, it's like, okay.
You know, they're like, hey, we haven't played, you know, there's, you know, like I was watching something from Eclipse when they did their first show post-pandemic. They're like, this is the first time we played in 18 months. Sorry for how we sound. And it's like, you sounded great, but they're like, we really haven't done this, so we're out of practice. And it's like, but you know, at least getting out there, and the fans have all. I was one that said, I'm not going to miss another show. Well, it's hard to keep up with them all, so I'm missing some that I want to go to others that I want to go to. So they all started hitting at once, and then I started going out, and then I ran out of vacation, and it's like shit. So it was nice. It was a great summer.
Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm was backstage at Moondance Jam, and we were talking backstage of our production office where I worked, and she said, this is our first show since the pandemic. And I said, really? And she goes, yeah, it's the first time we're going to be on stage. We went and did this little secret club gig a couple nights ago just to get reacquainted with each other. And then that was their first show, and they came out and they just killed it,
Right.
So yeah, there's some benefits to working backstage and working in production and booking bands, but there's nothing better than looking out at all those teeth and eyes,
Right.
And seeing all those people just getting off on what you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're touching
and that's something
them.
I think
you.
everybody missed it. Yeah, I think everybody missed it. I think we had 16 or 18,000 people at Moondance Jam. We a couple thousand at Buck Hill, about 2,500 at Rivertown. We had really good crowds.
That's awesome.
Really good crowds. It's a blessing to be able to do this still.
Right. Especially
I rambled.
No, I mean you're right. It's easy. It could all go away, and it is a blessing to be still doing what you're doing after this many years.
Yeah.
You never thought it would last. You just thought the moment here, just live in the moment, and here it is, like 40 years later, and you're like, now I get to, work and hang out with some of the guys, and it's turned into friendships. Some of the guys posters I had on my wall. I mean, these guys, they're only about 5-6 years older than me, but I adore these guys, and now some of them I text, some of them I'm hanging out with, some of them I talk to on the phone. It's like, wow, it's great to be still around it, and it still be happening,
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm a firm believer in the live show. It's like, put your device down, go take in the moment like we used to up until cell phones got into everybody's face constantly. And I'm not, cell phone is a great way to communicate, but you know what? Put it in your pocket and just take the show in. There is nothing better than watching people on stage performing. To me, I just, from that first Van Halen show to just watching Vince come out and absolutely kick ass at Buck Hill a couple weeks ago, and they owned it. They came out and they were on fire. And he's been getting so much bad press, but you know what? Everybody gets, we've all had a bad show, everybody's had a bad show here, and they're a big deal. I tell people, it's like, well, do you think he's going to, no, he's not going to suck. He's Vince Neil. He's do what he did.
I'm nowhere near what I used to be, Okay, I'm a machinist. I used to be faster. I used to be more limber. Now my back hurts. This hurts. That hurts. I'm not as good at it as I used to be. Please don't fire me. And hopefully I don't go on Facebook one day and people talking shit on how bad of a machinist I am. I'd be like, oh my God, leave this guy alone. He's just trying to do a job. If there's people out there willing to pay to see him, leave him alone. Go do something else.
I was there. I played with them. Our band opened for them with Back in Black, and they put on an amazing show. So if you get an opportunity to see Vince before he goes out with Motley again next year, go see him, because the show is worth seeing.
I saw him the last time I saw him was at M3, and I did not think he did a bad job at all. I was like, he was good by me. So it is what it is. Now, what shows you got coming up?
Well, we have the November 6th at Route 47. It's us and Fuzzard who are on our roster, and Reverend Soul. So that should be a lot of fun. Then we play with Fuzzard again at the St. Croix Casino on November 20th. And that's our last show of the year before we, keep going on pre-production for the next record. We have about 12, 14 song ideas cooking right now, but we're in that process of, refining them. And, like Love and War from the last record, the first single that we did.
Oh yeah.
That was the last song to go on the record because we needed one more song. And Lane and I took 3 guitar drum parts that we had come up with, and we kind of moved them around and put them together. And then he said, well, give me a few minutes. And he came up with that. And then he came up with the offbeat. And I went, that's perfect. That'll throw everybody off. Click. And then the lyrics just came within about an hour, So, and then we played it for our bass player. He's like, wow. Then we played it for our singer and Mark says, no, too many words. Let's get rid of this. He's just like,
too many words. Wow. Nice.
Too many lyrics. Cut it down.
Singer saying too many lyrics. Wow.
Well, it was War and Peace what I wrote, but we kept the best parts of it,
Right.
So
that's a great song.
I'm glad you like the record. Thank you very much.
I do like the record. It's fresh. It doesn't sound. I can't put my finger on what it sounds like, but it's good. It's very good. I listened to it again today at work, just because I'm at work. I gotta listen to something, so it's like listen to it again, and it's just good record. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next one. Easy.
We're hoping to get that one out, wherever it lands. I don't, with Highball down,
right,
and nobody knowing what's going to happen with the label. We're just going to press on and keep going as if, same schedule, business as usual, even though, we're all still mourning the loss of the Chavises. Right. But we want to continue to put out product and refine it. And I'd say we have probably 12, maybe 14 really, really good songs on this one. It's a little heavier. I got to tell people.
Nice.
It's a little heavier. It's still commercial, still catchy, but songs are just
it is very
a
catchy.
little heavier.
I mean, it is very catchy. I love it. And that's what it's about. You get the hooks, and that grabs people. You're like,
I'm not one for a long guitar solo. I don't. Play what it takes. I mean, do what the song calls for.
Right.
I mean, if you can whistle it, that's awesome. If you can't whistle it and you can remember it, well, that's awesome too. Those solos are really hard to do. I mean, it took me a couple days to do those. Background vocals came pretty nice on the record. They came along. I had my stepdaughter Chelsea in, and Randy Friedel from a band called Midwest Mayhem came in and helped too. So we had 2 girls with the 3 guys. So that blended really nice in the harmonies and just mixed the girls down. Because, I'd love to be able to say I can get up like the Steelheart singer, but that would be a lie. I can't get that high. Or CJ from Firehouse, he can still hit those notes still.
Oh yeah,
you watch CJ sing these notes and you just go, whoa, dude.
Whoa. Yeah, I've seen him live. The last time I seen him live was on the Mosses Rock Cruise, and I was right up front, about 5th row back maybe, and I'm like, okay, let's see what he's got. And I was like, damn, this guy's still got it.
Are you going? I looked at the lineup. Are you going to Pigeon Falls this weekend or no?
No, okay. I didn't get to go. I was doing Masquerade, and then Masquerade.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Same weekend. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, it was about 2 weeks later, but I had to pick one because I couldn't afford to travel to this one and to travel to that one. So, and it's Bradley, and I'm with Brad. So and plus the lineup was so much better. with Masquerade. I'm like, you look at the lineup of Monsters on the Mountain. Yeah, there was a few bands I would have loved to go to support Native Sons and a couple other bands, but the bands that I kind of weighed them both, and Masquerade just did it for. I was like, I have to see this one. I have to go. So,
well, and then you moved it though. It's moved to
Well,
that's understandable though. I mean, it was. I mean, there's some things that are understandable.
Yeah, the amount of people we wanted to have in there, there would have had to been, your masks and this and that. It's like, no. We don't want to do that. We don't want to, okay, you have to abide by all these mandates and you have to do this and have to do that. Then they did not, because the amount of people, they didn't want it inside. So we had to move it outside. Then they were like, we have to move it outside, this and that and the other thing. Then you got to worry about weather. Then people got to dress differently than they would have if it was inside. So it would have been a mess. And we figured, just push it out to April and everything should be way better by then.
Well, if you think about where we were last year at this time with no trick or treating,
right?
Thanksgiving, telling you can only have so many people at Thanksgiving dinner, and me being a smartass, I said, well, don't ask me to, vote one of my kids off the island, So I mean, it's like, it really didn't help with a family our size. So, but now, I mean, it's like, does it feel? I think it feels like it's kind of turning the corner. It would be nice. But I mean, that was why our festivals all had to. Some of them had to move. Some we had to wait to the last minute to announce a lineup because Minnesota was tough. I mean, our governor was tough. He started to slowly open things up, and I don't care what side of the fence you're on politically for anyone. I would not want to have been a governor during the pandemic or the president or a congressman or congresswoman. No way. That's a job that's like, if anyone ever said, do you ever want to run for office? I'd say I'd run from office. There's no way. Why why would anybody want to do that job? Oh my God.
I don't understand it.
I don't get it, but who knew, who knew this was going to happen? So,
Well,
so hope we didn't go too long, Hope we didn't go too long. No.
I usually go for, at least an hour. So, hey, we're right there. But I hope, I'm looking forward to the next album.
Cool.
Get working on it. Hurry up. Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
So,
I like it, I like the new songs.
Everybody go out there and buy the most recent one. It's just called A Rising Force. It's
Undertow.
Undertow. That's right. It's Undertow.
I think you could still get it on Amazon, and that's the lead track. We did a video for Undertow, but we didn't get to release it because Bill went in the hospital on the release day, so it's just sitting. So we haven't done anything with it.
Really?
Video turned out really good. Yeah, we're like, but where?
Right. I know.
Where do we put it?
Right.
I think people can still. I think you can still get it on Apple and Amazon, and I think you can get everything on iTunes. If you can't, I mean, it's probably still up on Spotify. Feel free.
It's on Spotify.
Okay,
that's what I listen to at work. It's, I have physical copies of everything, and when I get that mailed, then I'll have physical copies of this one. But it's getting to the post office, But
so send me the address, and I'll send you the stuff like tomorrow. I've got tomorrow.
I didn't even put the address in there, did I? Oh, the address is right on the envelope. That's cool. No.
Okay, you want me to wait? Okay, I'll send it back.
Hey, I like
the stuff. I'll send you the stuff priority. I'll send it from the office. That's fine.
Go.
I'll send a picture of the horse too. How about that?
Nice. I'll hang it in the rock room. It'd be the rock.
There you go. The rock horse. I mean, I don't know. Do I send you Flash? Do I send you Pearl? Do I send you Danny? Do I send you Marlena? The other one, the Dobermans. I don't. That's the What do we send? Send you. I feel like Mooch of Omaha's Wild Kingdom here at the house.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I love the animals. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's a beautiful thing.
They keep your mind straight.
They do.
Yeah.
This was fun. I appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem. And
hopefully I didn't talk your head off,
No, I'll have you back on many times, I'm sure.
Cool.
So, hey, whenever you got something new that you want to get out there, hit me up, let me know, and I'll share it everywhere, man. I believe in this band and I believe in you. So
thank you very much.
I'm all about it.
And we really appreciate, stuff like this. It's awesome to have people take an interest in our band and enjoy the music like you said you have. We're really proud of the record. We worked hard on it, and hopefully we'll sell copper or tin or maybe zinc. I'd like
Zinc.
Zinc would be big. I think everybody wants platinum and gold, but I mean, do people still do that? I mean, are there enough? Can you get that for digital? Because people buy digital, though. You get 1 million digital downloads.
Hey,
right?
then if you get 1 million digital downloads, I'm pretty sure you get like $5, right?
Yeah, you get the little. Do you get like I'm not knocking it, but I mean, you remember the platinum albums you get?
Right.
Right. You put that on the right. Do you get like a thumb drive? Like
thumb drive. There you go.
Silver one. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll figure. I'm gonna dig into this. I'm gonna.
You should research that. You should research that and see.
This should take me all week next week.
Yeah. Hey, this was awesome. I do really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Very cool. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to do it. And I will post all your links tomorrow. Facebook links, Amazon, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. I get them all on my page to share them out.
Awesome. And again, have a great weekend. And
hey, you too, man. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. And you have a good night too, dude.
Thanks, dude. See ya.
Hey, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, that was Leni from A Rising Force. Need to go get this CD. I guarantee you're going to love it. I love it. I mean, I don't love everything, contrary to popular belief. I don't love everything, but I do really, really like this CD. I actually love it. I think it's great. It's a different, if you're looking for different sound, it's very rock, but it's kind of mixed with melodic. It's kind of, I'll share them. You got to hear it. You just go to Spotify, check it out. I do that a lot. I'll go to Spotify, check the band out before I buy the physical copy. Yeah, why not? But I guarantee you, check them out on Spotify. You will be buying the physical copy. It's good, very good. There's not a bad track on it. And they did it in one day. You hear them? They did it in one day. I mean, it sounds like it's been like done. It's driven. I like that. Like it's driven. Thank you for that. But go get it. Go listen to them. Check them out. Like I said, I'll have all the links to their websites, their Facebook pages, everything up tomorrow. Thank you, Leni, for being here. I appreciate it. I will see you all next week, next Thursday. Remember, there's no Tuesday show. I'll see you next Thursday. Heber Papillon. I think I say that right. I've never had to ask him about his last name. Heber from Kipkin Valentina will be here. We'll be talking to him and get the lowdown on the showdown about Kipkin Valentina, what they got going on. It seems like they got a lot going on again. So I will see you next Thursday. And sorry to be show rock. Hell yeah. But I will see you next Thursday. So y'all take care. Have a good weekend. All you people at Monsters on the Mountain, I'm very jealous of you, but have a good time. Send pics, share pics. I want to see everything going on. All right. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next Thursday.